Sadnam. I may be known or unknown to you. My name is Guru Fateh Singh. I live in Toronto, and my own introduction is that I am a remedial kind of a guy. When I see something that needs fixing, I don't make a lot of noise about it. I just go and see what I can do. When we had a painter guy that wanted to start a war in Iraq, I gathered my network and we put together a week of peace events. We got a Nobel Prize laureate and got different speakers and movies, and we did that again and again. We didn't stop the war, but I didn't feel I could let that go by without acting on it. I'm writing a book for Sikh girls and women because it's really helpful, because there's not that much out there for them, and it can be hard to be a visible minority with very high ideals in a culture that doesn't necessarily share those ideals. I've done different things. I've done a couple of human rights cases, just always looking what's the weak point, what needs addressing. And currently I'm in I think hopefully the final stages of making an anthem for our climate crisis, and that is again something that I see that needs doing. We have a crisis. This morning a thought came to me, and the thought was that to write a book, because I've been saying we need cultural instruments, we need movies, stories, music, videos, poems, murals, to guide people, to direct people to be engaged in our climate crisis. And I thought to write a book, and the title of the book is We're Not Gonna Make It. Subtitle, Short Stories from the Apocalypse. And normally I'm an optimistic person, I'm a go-to kind of person, I'm a kind of person like that. But when Greta Thunberg is on the front page of the New York Times complaining, and she's right to complain, that adults are really, really letting down the younger generation. They're not listening. That things are not being done. When the U.S. president signs on and says, yes, we're going to do electrical vehicles, 2030, most vehicles will be electrical, but then he goes to OPEC, the oil producing association, and asks for more cheap oil so that he can get elected and not have a voter backlash, because Americans are still guzzling oil and gas like we know tomorrow. Of course, there won't be a tomorrow for your grandchildren, at least, if you keep guzzling like that. It's irresponsible. But it's a political calculation. And there's too many political calculations going on. And do the math. You'll see there's too much calculation, too much politics going on. We have an election right now, a federal election in Canada, and nobody is running on the climate platform that we need. Everybody is running scared. Nobody wants to talk about $5 a gallon gas, $10 a liter of gas, because they'll know that they'll lose the voters. But that's what we need. We need to, all the experts saying we need to price the hell out of carbon emitting products. And carbon emitting products have given us a lot of mobility, means we can commute for 2 hours. Some people are commuting 2-3 hours. It means that we can buy cheap stuff from great distances. But if we didn't have cheap carbon fuels, we would still have industry here in North America that we used to have, with good paying jobs, instead of having them shipped out. It's not all fairyland that we have cheap carbon fuels. If we had expensive fuels, perhaps people would not be sentenced to long, mindless commutes, which aren't good for anybody. It's bad for the mind, it's bad for relationships, it's been proven. But we have a crisis, and we're not going to get through it going the way we're going. You know, we had, I mean, we're funny as human beings. We used to be, just muddling on this planet. But then we got nuclear power, we got nuclear bombs, and being the kind of people, egotistical that we are, we made two teams, and basically we teetered on the verge of destruction, deliberate destruction, using those nuclear bombs. We nearly blew ourselves up, and we're not that smart to be rid of the bombs. We still have the bombs, but it was a possibility that people at the top, the presidents, the commissars at the top of the organizations, could blow us all to smithereens and give us, a planet that's desolate. Now we have another crisis. We have a crisis where, by neglect, the same result can happen, basically. By neglect, by polluting and warming the climate so it goes to 4 degrees above normal, which would be disastrous, which is the trajectory that we are on, the path that we are on. We are going to have a really bad future. Crops will be drying up, rivers will be drying up, people are going to be migrating in the millions and the billions, and there will practically be guaranteed there'll be wars based on reduced resources, food, water, and it's not going to be pretty. The science is there, the knowledge is there, but our actions are not reflecting those. We're still driving these guzzling cars. I feel that these cars and these planes, these vacations to other side of the world should not be advertised. Like we don't advertise in Canada, we don't advertise alcohol, we don't advertise tobacco. These are in the same category. We don't advertise guns. In Canada, we don't. We should not be advertising these carbon-intensive products. It's not smart. It's not pro-life. Some people say they're very pro-life. They don't allow a woman to control her body. Well, fantastic. But we need pro-life politics. We need pro-life strategies to survive on this planet for a couple of generations. And nobody is pushing those pro-life politics. Nobody is pushing those pro-life strategies. And we don't even want them. We want the cheap gas. We want everything just business as usual. All the people in Bangladesh go to hell. All the people in Congo go to hell. Because, we have a lot of money. We have a lot of hubris. We have a lot of ego. And if there are climate refugees, we don't see them. Big oceans on both sides, 3 sides of our country. Nobody's going to come across the Arctic yet. We have a problem. We say that we're pro-life and we're wonderful, but it's all hypocrisy. If we don't curb our carbon emissions, and as a rich country like Canada, the European Union, Japan, U.S., Australia, if we don't share our wealth in terms of technology, if we don't send solar panels to Africa and to places wherever they're needed, to Bolivia, we don't send that technology and also send relief when the hurricanes hit, when the climate disaster hits, when the floods hit. It's like you're labeling yourself a nice Sikh or a nice Christian or whatever, but you're beating your wife every day. We're not beating our wife. In this case, we're beating our Mother Earth. We're doing it in 10,000 ways. Every day we're cut, death of 10,000 cuts, it's called, in 10,000 thoughtless actions. All the plastic we use, all the fuel we burn, all the air conditioning we do, all that. And plus we have the energy of crowds, because everybody else is doing it too. So you can't point a finger at me. There are crowds of us doing this nonsense. And I'm just calling you out. I'm calling you out as a father. I'm calling you out as a Sikh minister, call me what you want, as a researcher, as an author, as a human being. I'm calling you out. You've got to stop this nonsense. This is ridiculous. And I'm calling you out. Greta Thunberg's calling it. A lot of young people are calling it out. But I recognize, there's Saturday football, and there's barbecue, and there's all this nonsense to do. Drive 1,000 miles, live in your mobile home, burn, burn, burn. There's no future in it. There's no future in it. And we've got to change. All right? So I'm doing my little bit. I'm calling you out. I want you to call out your politicians. I want you to call yourself out. Look at yourself. What have you done for the planet? If you're not a part of the solution, you're a part of the problem. Talk about it. Talk with your friends about it. Pray about it. But do something. Check out your politicians. See what their lifestyle is. Are they vegan? Are they taking it seriously? Do they have a big car? Are they driving a Humvee? Call them out. But call yourself out too. You're a voter. You're a citizen. You have an imprint. You have a footprint on this earth. Everybody does. What's your footprint? And the big thing we need a serious carbon tax. That's what all the politicians are scared about, especially in the United States of America, because the lobby for the carbon fuels is so powerful. You don't want to cross them. They're the mafia of our time. But you've got to cross those guys, most of the guys. And you've got to cross your own thoughtlessness. We've got to change now. We've got to tax carbon fuels out of existence. And we've got to learn how to live a good life with a good conscience. 7 generations. That's what we need. Think about it. Act on it. Vote on it. Make this your life. God bless you. Mother Earth be with you. Sat Nam.